So first of all, I think that affordable housing is a global challenge. It goes from the global north to the global south, no matter, I mean, there are huge differences, of course, but it's a cross-cutting challenge and a cross-cutting issue. So we do really have the responsibility to try to find common solutions and, of course, common strategies. Of course, it is very important to understand that this challenge is based at the local level, which means that, of course, we are facing every day the problem of many people do not having adequate housing in many different ways. And the problem is that actually resources are not at the local level. So we have to, in a way, fight in order to have the chance to actually solve these problems. And that's why we, at the European level, we decided to gather together many cities, starting from Rome, Barcelona, and Paris, in what we name Mayors for Housing Alliance, in order to actually call for national and European institutions to, give us enough resources and also means to actually tackle this huge challenge. I believe that this is a good strategy, and I advise everybody, also all of us, to actually cooperate in this respect. Yeah, basically, all in wealthy city, let's say, there is a huge issue of social housing, because rentals and prices are actually growing and growing all the time. And this means that normal people, let's say, what we call normal people, do not have the chance to actually access to an adequate housing at the moment. This means that probably this is also the right moment to tackle this issue, because for the first time in history, at least in the Western world, the issue of living, of residing, of dwelling is not anymore just a problem of the poorest, which is as it was in the past. It's also a problem for, let's say, again, the normal people. So students, young couples, elderlies who maybe cannot access to a mortgage. So normal people that used to be on the normal market, on the normal or the private market, that are now in the position of actually being displaced in a way, and this is something we cannot accept. So I think it's the right moment politically to actually try to tackle this problem, and of course, to do this, we need to understand what is changing. So, for example, fluxes of tourists are an opportunity, of course, for cities, but also a problem when it comes to public housing, because it's always it gets more difficult to have the chance to get an apartment. So yes, I think that of course there are common challenges, and also the means in a way are the same. So we need to have more public houses, we need to regenerate, we need to protect tenants from the market, and we need to help people to be on the market thanks to guarantees to landlords and properties. So I believe that the political challenge nowadays is actually not to put against climate justice and social justice. We need to understand that the climate transition is a huge epochal challenge, and of course it requires much money at many levels, and that's why it is very, very important for us to build a cultural and political process that allows all the people, without regard to their economic condition, to actually access to this process, which means that we cannot just say we need to invest money in retrofitting the buildings or whatever because it's correct for the climate point of view, because of course many people would be against it. So we need to first of all find the measures and the actions which are more acceptable, and there are a few, those who actually require just a public intervention, or those who are an advantage, a win-win solution, and then go to the more difficult situation without being, in a way, snob and thinking that people are just not understanding the challenge. The problem is that the transition and the actually fight against climate change cannot be just a matter for conferences and rich people. It has to be something that really improves people's life, everybody's life. Well, I think that we know that nowadays 55% of the world populations resides in cities. We know that this percentage is probably going to grow up until 70-75% within 20 to 30 years, and this growth will be basically in Africa and Southeastern Asia. So I mean, we already know that the challenge is here and is there. So the only solution we have is actually to cooperate and build a strong network that actually give all of us the means in the different conditions, in the different situations, to be effective in our policies. At the end of the day, I mean, we are the ones who speak face to face with people and citizens, and so it's common interest actually to have us effective and not just speaking in the conferences and then be ineffective and without the means and the tools to achieve the goals we are working for. It's the second time for me in Johannesburg. I really love South Africa, and so this time I had the chance to visit it a little bit more, and I have to see that there are huge contradictions, which is in a way also the charm of the city. But I assume that Mayor Moreira has a tough job for many reasons, and also huge opportunities. So I think that this is a good summary in a way of South Africa. Wonderful country, huge opportunities, huge charm, and also big problems.